Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, April 15th. We'll call the Wright County Board of Commissioners to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first item on the agenda here today is the minutes from the April 1st board meeting. We can stand for any motions at this time.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Moyna. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Dietrich.
again, I would like the minutes, obviously, agree to disagree, a little bit more thorough and not just a motion and a vote. But we also did talk about, in discussion, that we would include timestamps with this change that the board, the consensus was. And I was hoping that we could move forward with that and add that to our agenda. Moving forward. Thank you.
We will certainly have more discussions on that. I know that was one of the items that we are intending to do with administration. I'm not sure if they've gotten to the point on that yet, but thank you for your comments, Commissioner Dietrich. At this point, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Minutes are approved 4-1. All right, today's agenda. Is there anything that needs to be added or changed in today's agenda? I'll stand for a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Moyna, second by Commissioner Holland. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, agenda is approved unanimous. Today's consent agenda. Would anyone like to remove something from today's consent agenda for further discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll stand for a motion to approve today's consent agenda.
So moved. I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Consent agenda is approved unanimously. Moving along quite swiftly here, we are already up to our first timed agenda item. Our first timed agenda item is the Great River Regional Library.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen Punsak, Executive Director for Great River Regional Library. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Sorry.
Hi, I'm Katie Teasdale. I'm the Library Services Coordinator for the Buffalo branch.
Hi, I'm Marla Scherber. I'm the Library Services Coordinator for Monticello.
And I am Nancy Bunting. I'm the Library Services Coordinator for St. Michael.
So in your packets today, you have our presentation about library services. We come to our counties twice each year, once at budget time in the summer, but we also come at the beginning of the year to talk about all the successes about Great River Regional Library, which Wright County is a strong partner of. We want to thank Commissioner Dietrich for her service on the board. We also have 4 citizen members from Wright County on that board: J.C. Wallace, Melissa Fee, Teresa Dahl, and Holly Lamers. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be running through the presentation that's in the packet. You guys have a new setup since the last time I was here, so I apologize. I think it's, I don't remember what page it was. There we go. So Great River Regional Library is a 6-county partnership. We have 32 locations with libraries and then a locker system in Sartell. If you go to the next slide, you can kind of see the overview of regional activities. Oh, you're fast. We had over 98,000 cardholders last year. That means somebody has registered for a card and used it at least once in the last 3 years. We circulated over 2 million physical items across the 6-county system. We also had almost 500,000 circulations in our digital collection. So there's lots of different ways people are accessing the library, and we'll be talking about that. We have quite a few different locations here in Wright County. You can see there Annandale, and we can see Clearwater and Cokato and Delano. We can also see Rockford and the new Howard Lake libraries in the middle center there, Buffalo, Monticello, and St. Michael. So lots of really fabulous partnerships with the cities that offer library services. If you go to the next slide, you can see the statistics break down for the different locations within Wright County and the Great River as a total. What is worth pointing out is the digital library registrations are kind of a subset of total registrations. So about a third of the people who have a regular library card are accessing the digital library. You can also see that it is one of the highest circulating locations in the system. But that being said, St. Michael is on the rise. They used to be, I think, our 5th or 6th largest library, and now they're creeping up to 2nd and 3rd. So it's interesting to see the growth in the southern part of Wright County and how that's impacting the whole system. All of the libraries are well loved by their communities, and you can see they're all used very heavily depending on their community size. If you go to the next slide, some of the highlights regionally, we had 13,000 kids sign up for summer reading challenge last year. That is a record number for us, and we're hoping to break that again. We had over 3,000 participants in our winter reading program. We also have a youth advisory council, and the photo that you see there is the youth advisory council's first ever presentation to the Great River Board. We have 14 young people who represent all 6 counties, and here in Wright County, Gabriella, Karina are from Buffalo, Faith and Alessandra are from St. Michael, and they are representatives. Some of them will actually be joining us tonight for our strategic planning work session with the Great River Board. So we're really excited to have that involvement of our youth and helping shape the services of the library. So I will turn the mic over to our local staff to talk about the successes happening locally here in Wright County.
Okay, so yeah, as highlighting all of the growth, obviously, that you see up on the charts, and then St. Michael in particular really growing. I just wanted to highlight a couple of fun events that we've had that kind of typifies what we're seeing in St. Michael. And one of them was February 1st is National Take Your Child to Library Day. And we decided to do like a little winter carnival and invite families. And we were so shocked that we had over 300 people show up that day. And it was really a lot of fun. We were able to show around the library, get about 25 kids signed up for library cards that day. The summer reading program, overall, it was over 13,000. Well, 2,000 of them were in St. Michael. And that is a fabulous program that we have, which also includes up to around 40 teen volunteers that come and help us to run that program. So we would not be successful without all of the teen volunteers. And then the other collaboration that I'd like to always highlight is with our senior center. We're fortunate in St. Michael to have the senior center right there. And so we work together to try to bring library services directly to them. But for instance, today, or I guess it's tomorrow, we're going to do a book bingo with the senior center. And so we're really enjoying that collaboration and continued growth in the library. Thanks.
Nancy mentioned collaboration, so we also have a great partnership with our senior center, which is across the street, and we were able to provide programming for them. And one of the things that's in the slide there is we got a brand new carpet project. We had a brand new carpet project and painting project at the Monticello Library. If you haven't been in there recently, take a stop in. It almost looks brand new. Even if you have old shelving with new carpet and new paint, it looks fantastic. So the city of Monticello has taken very good care of us, and we really appreciate the collaborations we have with our city. Our city also provides us with programming money, so we're able to do a little bit more programming with our city, and that's why we kind of try to do a little bit more and use the space across the street by providing programs on their property as well. The other thing I would like to mention is Monticello is partnering with the school district and the community of Monticello with the Rally to Read partnership. It's a community initiative, and we're working with the city of Monticello and businesses, Rotary, et cetera, to work on getting the reading scores in Monticello up. So we are focusing on ages 0 to 5. I am the community connections team leader. And so we're working with the library and that Rally to Read partnership and working on trying to bring our services to them and enlightening the people of Monticello with the services that the public library has.
Buffalo's had like a really busy year as well. We had a lot of record-breaking numbers kind of across the board in terms of participation in our big programs. There's a picture up there of our Touch a Truck event from last September where we had 450 people come, which was way more than we had the previous year. I love highlighting a lot of our community partnerships as well. We work really closely with organizations all over the city of Buffalo, including some folks that are right here in the Government Center at Health and Human Services. We also, like Touch a Truck is a collaboration between like a bunch of city workers, including Parks and Rec and the City Streets Group, but also the Historical Society and ECFE and the Community Center to have that all come together and happen, which is super cool. We also got carpet last year, where the middle picture is kind of just like Monticello. It's almost as if the building has been completely remodeled. It looks bigger on the inside somehow, even though it's the same amount of furniture and everything. Touching back to some of our like increases in participation, I do have, so like last year for summer reading and also this year for winter reading, we had kind of modest increases in the amount of people that participated, but over 30% increases in the amount of time that people were reading during those programs, which was just kind of wild to me. For summer reading, we had kids read about 459 days worth that got tracked and turned in, which is just like, that's so cool. One of the cool things we're kind of working on this year is I've been working with Community Ed and the Community Center to kind of create this programming partnership where we'll be able to create programs that are more intimately built around like the needs of the city of Buffalo, as well as avoiding that duplication of effort. So we're not doing the exact same thing at the same time in different locations, but instead like being able to support each other and kind of increase the efficacy of the work that we do, which is super cool.
So we want to thank Wright County for your support of the library system. You're one of the main sources of revenue for Great River Regional Library. We have the 6 counties who support us, and State Library Services provides several state grants to the system. I want to give an extra shout out to the city of Howard Lake. If you haven't been to their new net zero library, it's the first net zero library in the state. And they did a really fabulous job on that new building, and it's definitely worth a visit. I'll stop here for questions. We really appreciate your support. I don't know what questions you might have about what's happening at the library. In addition, we had the minute text resolution, so I wasn't sure how you want to handle that, but I'll.
Thank you, Karen, and your team for coming out here and going through all the great things that you have going on at Great River Regional Library. Board members, do anybody have any questions?
Sure, Vetch. I have one question. Otsego is now the biggest city in Wright County, and I was curious, do they go to the Elk River Library, or do we see that traction in St. Michael?
We just had a long conversation about that. Do you want to answer it since you were part of that?
Yes. So yes, we were looking at the numbers recently, and we were surprised, because they share the same zip code with Albertville.
Yes.
But the numbers definitely show that they're coming our way from that segment of Otsego. Yes, they still have the other side of town going to Elk River, but there's a good majority. You're right. Their numbers have really grown from Otsego.
Oh, yeah. Good, thanks.
Yeah, it's harder to track Otsego because it doesn't have a post office of its own. So it's like, okay,
In 5 zip
how
codes.
much of this is actually Otsego and how much of it is another city? But Elk River and St. Michael are both seeing a lot of growth. So I suspect it's related to the location being close to Otsego. Yeah.
Great.
One other thing. And then I did have to add them to my visits for the schools that I do to promote summer reading. So we just added Prairie View to that rotation, so.
A couple of years ago, the city of Otsego reached out and asked about our partnership with the city of Sartell to have lockers in their community center. That's primarily funded by the city of Sartell. They haven't gotten back to us, but we did give them the information on how that works, and maybe someday that's something that happens there too. Yeah, good question.
All right.
Mr. Chair, I did have a question for Karen. Going back to your first slide, you mentioned, I think you had 158,000 reference calls. I
Yeah.
think over the course of the year, and I mean, just my quick math, that's about just over 400 calls a day. And I was curious, have you seen anything happening with AI coming out, artificial intelligence? Is that helping you answer these calls? Because I can only imagine the calls you get and how you answer those so quickly when you have 432 of them a day. I'm wondering, is it helping you answer those calls? Is it dropping it? Are you seeing any trends? Just curious as to how it's maybe
That's an
impacting.
interesting question. We are talking about how AI can work in the library, but we are very dedicated to patron privacy as the number one, So all of those are handled by staff, and some of them are coming in at the desk. Some of them come in through the St. Cloud Public Library. We have over 200 staff across the region, so between all of the locations, we're able to share that with an 800 number that people can call. But a lot of those are just coming in at the local library level. We work really hard to have like self-checkout stations in most of our locations so that if a patron calls in and needs more one-on-one assistance or even comes in, they're able to get that personal touch. That's one of the things we've been hearing from our city meetings recently is people really want that small town feel. They want a familiar face at the library, and I don't think they would really welcome a chatbot on the other
I was
side.
just wondering how you answer. I'm really just wondering how you answer
Yeah.
158,000 questions that could range
yeah.
from anything.
The short answer is we have amazing staff. Yeah, good question.
Thank you. Then I guess we have one order of business left here. We have the resolution for the Minitex Library Services. I don't know if you have any comments on that before we move forward with that resolution.
I would just point out, this was brought as a request of our Great River Board, which has already passed the resolution. Federal library funding has kind of been put on hold. Part of it is stuff that was already appropriated, but the people in the IMLS office were actually laid off and can't cut checks. So there's a lot of uncertainty about current federal funding in addition to future federal funding. Majority of the federal funding at the state level goes to State Library Services, which is then subgranted to Minitex. That agency is responsible for interlibrary loan, the ELM databases, while Great River only receives about $7,000 indirectly from Minitex to provide interlibrary loan delivery to St. Cloud State, St. Cloud Tech College, and St. John's St. Ben's. We probably would see an impact of over $20,000 just immediately if interlibrary loans ceased. We had 14,498 items borrowed through MinLink last year. So if you multiply that times $20 to $30 a book, you can see the impact indirectly on library services. And so we are asking our counties to also show their support for Minitex. There's some bills happening at the Capitol in addition to the federal funding being at question right now.
So it's safe to say that without this service, you could lose maybe potentially 1/3 of your material or more, access to 1/3 of material that you currently do or more?
I don't know if it's a third, but I can say that about 16% of the items that were requested in the last 6 months by patrons were interlibrary loaned. So yeah, it's a big number.
It's at least a double digit or at least close to 20% of.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it's
All
a
right.
big number.
Board members will stand for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Shane, to approve the resolution supporting the Minitex Library Services for Great River Regional Library. Any discussion? Hearing none. Resolution vote, Commissioner Moyna?
Aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
And now moving on to our 9:15. As thousands of men and women move forward to go and repair and improve our streets, it is of a great timeliness that we pass this resolution recognizing National Work Zone Awareness Week here in Wright County, April 21st, April 25th.
Yes, good morning, Chair. Property Services Safety Committee is recommending that you pass this resolution in support of Work Zone Awareness Week. We have a lot of our highway maintenance staff, our engineers, our county surveying staff out on the roads this time of year. As you come through Annandale every morning on the commute, it says, beware, road work starts on April 21st. So Obviously going to be the season coming up, and we'd like everybody to be aware of our important staff and the projects that are out there, our surveyors, our county maintenance staff, our engineers, and our contractors out on the road. Have a few of them here today from the Property Services Safety Committee to, as you pass your resolution.
Thank you, Mark. And once again, this is always a great show of support and a good attention to safety that we do this every year. So I appreciate board member support in designating April 21st through April 25th as National Work Zone Awareness Week here in Wright County.
I'll make a motion to approve that resolution,
All
Mr.
right.
Chair.
We have a motion by Commissioner Dietrich,
Second.
second by Commissioner Moyna. Any further discussion? Hearing none, resolution vote. Commissioner Shane?
Aye.
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 All right. And resolution passes unanimous.
Yep, we'll grab a quick picture for John
All right.
and have you guys come up. They like all got new vests. Last year was a challenge to see who wore the dirtiest vest. This year,
Now, I'm sure everyone here will attest to Nate always has a clean vest, right?
good. I'll get it to John when you're done.
Yeah, but there's rumors have that he still knows how to drive a truck, so.
I know. Get a little closer, hug each other.
Do one more. Perfect. All right, thank you.
Okay. Oh, yeah,
It wasn't an intended plan.
Glad we could help when we could.
That's good.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Okay, and Mark's back up here, filling in for Chad on our 920. First would be approve the resolution prioritizing deficient bridges in Wright County. This is an annual thing that we do here in the county to keep our list updated and current in terms of the status of our bridges across Wright County. Mark, floor is
So
yours.
the resolution that's in front of you today is updated to include two township culverts, one from Silver Creek and one from Chatham, and updated costs, anticipated costs for those replacements. So this is a requirement that we do when we update the list for eligible funding activities. So
Mr. Chair, I just want to say thank you for evaluating those, for highway, for evaluating the Silver Creek and Chatham Township. Those are some big projects, and this would be great to add them to the list, so thank you.
Sarah was going to handle this, but she's got laryngitis.
She's battling the same thing I'm going through here. All right, with that, I'll stand for a motion.
So moved. I'll second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to adopt the resolution for prioritizing deficient bridges in Wright County. Any discussion? Hearing none. Resolution vote. I vote aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimous.
Thank you. Second item of business is to ask you to authorize a purchase agreement and signatures on 5.98 acre parcel in the city of Montrose for the new Montrose / replacement of the Waverly shop. The highway department's been looking for several years to acquire different properties in the Waverly and Montrose area to replace the underside and outdated Waverly shop. This purchase price is $70,000 higher than what we have in the lost funds for the CIP, so approving the purchase agreement would also then look at approving an additional lost funds of $70,000 for that. This is a project that has been approved in the 2025-2029 CIP with lost funds totaling $400,000 for 2025, $400,000 for 2026, and a CIP levy of 1.9 in 2027. And again, additional lost fund for construction of just about 2.9 for that same year for construction. So this would allow us to purchase property, get through the planning and zoning at City of Montrose, and then start design work and construction, probably 26, 27. So
Thank you, Mark, for the recap, and I appreciate all the staff and the amount of time that has gone into this. It was not something that we've done overnight. This was a process of years of looking for properties and finding the right one in the right location, right size, so it meets our plow routes and getting them done in a timely fashion. So I appreciate all the staff members involved in it. Board members.
Mr. Chair, I just had a discussion this morning with Montrose City Council member about, there was a proposal or a discussion, and can you tell me more about the lot that they proposed that they would actually give to the county with the city of Montrose?
Give to the county?
Give? I'm not sure.
I don't think there was a give, was there?
That was my understanding, that south of 12, over by the water treatment facility.
I'm gonna call on Jeremy Carlson to see his opinion on
And
this.
this is
Jeremy
new to me
Carlson
too,
is
so I
our
just
right-of-way
wanted to
agent
make
that
sure.
has been dealing with all the negotiations, so.
Yes.
This was a new concept.
Yeah, everything is a new concept.
Morning, Jeremy.
Good morning, Jeremy Carlson, Wright County Highway Department. I'm the right-of-way agent, so I've been dealing with, Nate and I both met with the city of Montrose here probably a couple months ago, just to reiterate that we want to move into the city, and we asked the city for potential land locations that our shop could be located at. So yes, they did mention some sites south of 12, they mentioned some sites north of town, and ultimately, the site that they suggested is the one that we're trying to purchase now. But there is no land swap or of any kind like that. So we're just looking at the 5.9 acres to purchase. And that's in your packet, that's on the
what's in
west
there.
side of town. Yep.
Thank you, Jeremy.
So, oh, great.
I just,
Thanks for- no, but-
I mean, I wanted to bring it up. I think it should be part of the discussion of, you know, how the process came. So that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, because I'm not aware of any property that was available for little or nothing, but it would have been nice if that was the case, but anyways, board members, there are discussion items on it?
I guess I'm curious what property that would even be.
Again, it was my understanding that it was south of town, over by the water treatment facility. I don't recall us saying that this is the land we want you guys to have, because it is an extremely valuable piece of commercial property for the city that we've had some business interest in. So that's the city's, that's my stance and with my communications with the city admin on this. We're not thrilled about this piece of land taking over.
Yeah, so the parcel of land he's talking about, there was actually two that were suggested to us south of County Road 12. One was just directly west of the water treatment facility, but that was talked about to us that would be future city offices. Correct. There was also a parcel down by their city shop, which would be south of their water treatment facility. Nate and I went out and looked at that, and we're really concerned about water runoff with our salt storage. There's a creek that runs through there. There are also poor soils in that area, so that was a site we felt was not a good option for our facility.
That's next to the DNR land there.
Yep.
I guess, I don't know about staff. I've received zero communication from the city or from other individuals within the city of Montrose articulating that they would rather have us on a different piece of property other than the one that we've been working with them to move forward with. I don't know if staff has any other communication other than what I've had, which is none.
Yeah, and that's why Nate and I met with the city first. We wanted to make sure that, hey, we're gonna look at parcels in the city. We wanna make sure that these parcels are okay, and that's where we were directed to go to begin with. And I understand that there could be some concerns from council, but we just met with city staff, so that's where city staff directed us.
And I'm going to defer over to Commissioner Moyna just because he has a little bit of a better knowledge and working understanding of the city of Montrose, and being it's his district, he's more likely to get communication than I am on any particular conflicts. Have you gotten any communication, Commissioner Moyna?
What we just heard from, which is now the current mayor of Montrose, had said, yeah, that's the same thing that I've heard from a couple of their council members as well, but it sounds like the city staff met with the county and said, this is a good spot for you. So, it's a great location right off the highway.
So this is this a situation where potentially one or a few council members have a different perspective than that of staff on this?
I think when you have a body of 5 people that are elected, you're gonna have differing opinions between different people. So
All right.
Chairman Betch.
I
thank
think it's a
you.
good idea.
Okay. I'm trying to get an understanding of the positioning on this. So
This will obviously have to go through the city's planning and zoning commission and approval through their city council. So we are looking to, in your motion, include 120 to 150 day due diligence. Right now, the purchase agreement says 60. That'll allow them time to approve or deny. If there's any conflict at time and the city planning commission denies the use, that would give us an out on the purchase agreement.
Yes. Chairman Betch, I was just going to
Gives them the
say
opportunity.
that it is heading towards their planning and zoning. So this will all be vetted out in their city council arena before we even purchase it. This is just to go ahead and,
Sign a purchase agreement.
Yeah.
Then it'll go to the planning and zoning, and that's why in the motion that we recommend is upping that due diligence period to 150 days, because they have 120 from the time they hear this to make a decision. And we don't want 60 days and then be 65 days. Yeah, you can't do it.
fair enough. Then at this time, I will entertain any motions by members.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Moyna to move forward with a purchase agreement on the parcel in the city of Montrose for a highway maintenance shop.
Mr. Chair, could I just clarify that the motion is to approve signatures on a purchase agreement for 5.98 acres of parcel 112-050-0000050, the city of Montrose for the highway shop, and to authorize administration to negotiate a due diligence period not to exceed 150 days?
You are correct. I was just trying to avoid with my voice to read all that.
Yes. That's why I'm here, Mr. Chair.
All right. And those are incorporated by the motion makers? Yes. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Motion passes unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and now moving on to our 925, we have Ross somewhere here. He's making his way up here. We have approved and adopt a resolution accepting donations from the friends and family of the Mary Jo Schmid in the amount of $1,600.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pretty straightforward. This is just following the donation policy. We need a resolution to accept the $1,600 for a donation of a bench at Schroeder Park.
Very nice.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Dietrich,
Second.
second by Commissioner Moyna. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Resolution vote, Commissioner Holland?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes unanimous.
Thank you.
And now we're on to items for consideration. We have the first item would be to request to schedule 2 committees of the whole, looking to do them on May 6th with the Parks Committee first, and then following it by a committee of the whole for budgets.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Staff is looking to schedule a Parks and Recreation Committee of the Whole on May 6th. We previously scheduled a Budget Committee of the Whole that day, and it's currently slated for the whole day, mainly as a placeholder, given board meetings, just to make sure we had it on everyone's calendar. And we're asking to narrow down, as part of this resolution, the budget meeting of the whole, probably start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, would probably be in order. Looking at the Park Committee meeting starting at 10:30 after board, and then the budget meeting at 1, if that works for the board.
Is that something, Mr. Chair, is that something we have to do in the same day?
We wouldn't have to.
I'm just, I would like to dedicate the budget time for the budget time. So that
We
we're
can
not
move the
feeling
budget
rushed.
meeting.
For the
We could look at doing it on the 13th in lieu of the workshop or after the workshop.
The 13th, we're slated to do transportation that day.
Yeah. Could look at a Friday, a Monday.
Could we keep the budget as, we've already established that, and maybe move the Parks meeting to a different date, or Committee of the Whole to a different date?
Monday, the 12th?
Monday, the 12th works.
For which meeting are we looking at? The 12th?
The Park and Rec.
Park and
then
Rec on the
that
12th?
day.
Okay.
All right.
Then have the budget meeting at start at 10:30?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that we
Ross,
still
does
have
that
that
work?
allotted time.
All right, so we'll entertain a motion. Do you want to do 9 a.m. on May 12th?
I'm good with anything. That's fine with me.
It's crickets.
Crickets?
Wait, 9 a.m.? Can we do it at 10? Because I have
Sure.
a meeting at 9.
Okay, 10 a.m. on May 12th so I'll stand for a motion to set a Parks Committee of the Whole on May 12th at 10 a.m.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to set May 12th at 10 a.m. for a Parks Committee of the Whole. Any further discussion? Hearing,
The only thing that I would just bring up that is more that I'm curious is now we're setting 3 meetings, one for the 6th, one for the 12th, one for the 13th. Can we do that in one motion, or do we have to do it in 3?
no, the one is 6:30 stays because that one was already scheduled for 10:30 all day. So when it ends, it ends. And the 12th one, the 12th one is a new one, and we have to schedule one more after this. But we could do them all in one. If you want to schedule one for May 13th as in this motion too, we can for the transportation.
I was just curious. Otherwise, we just move on and make the motions.
All right. So we had a motion and we had a second to set May 12th at 10 a.m. for the Parks Committee of the Whole. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. May 12th at 10 a.m. is passed unanimous. Now we're looking at May 13th was the recommended day for Transportation Committee of the Whole. I'm assuming the suggested time is a 9 or 10 a.m. Or no, we have a board meeting or a workshop, so I'm guessing it's a 10:30, 11:30. 10:30?
10:30. It's already on here.
All right, May 13th at 10:30. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Shane, second by Commissioner Holland to set May 13th at 10:30 a.m. for a Transportation Committee of the Whole. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, meeting scheduled unanimously. Next, we have the approved resolution and final acceptance of the contract 2306 and authorized final payment to Dunnix in the amount of $57,582.06 for the construction on County Road 148. Is there any?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Shane to approve a resolution for final acceptance of contract 2306. And any other discussion? Hearing none, resolution vote. Commissioner Dietrich?
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes unanimous. All right. 1 second here. Now we have the Ways and Means recommendations. I'm sorry. No, but the first one would be approve the recommendations from the Ways and Means. Sorry, my computer stalled on me a second. So the March 26th Ways and Means Committee met. The change would be the Wright County probationary delivery system to community corrections. So this is one that we've been working quite diligently with Mike McMillan and his team, and they've been looking at this over years to look at making this switch, and it has finally come to the point where it is in the best interest of our organization and then the best interest of our citizens in looking at making this switch to a community corrections-based correction system versus that of a probationary system. Board members or staff, do you have any comments you'd like to make at this time? Yeah, sure, Mike, if you want to come up and.
Thanks, Chair, Board, and Administrator Kreiser. As you've mentioned, we've been thinking about this for a number of years. Matter of fact, we've been on everybody's list for a number of years to go to community corrections. But our feeling was now with the new funding stream and the timing, as you heard in the Ways and Means Committee, and also individually with individual commissioners that have met with me since that meeting, that our feeling is the time is right. Before you in the packet, you have an implementation plan that we put together and also a resolution. that would move us to 401 CCA County, as well as establishing an advisory board. We've worked very closely with our criminal justice partners in Wright County, the judges who 100% support, as you heard at the Ways and Means, as well as some other correspondence. Also the county attorney's office, county administration, finance we worked with after Ways and Means. That was very helpful for me and them, but our draft helped them, and also our IT provider, who we need a little bit of time to make the transition, which I outlaid to the Ways and Means and also individually to the board members. So at this point, we'd like to ask that you approve the resolution. If you need Mr. Lutz to restate that, because I forgot to bring it, but it is in your packet. And then also look at the timing of the transition, but I think I've laid that out pretty clearly for everyone. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the board, administration has met with finance and also with Mike's office as well, the county attorney's office, and we've also had a meeting with the court as well. And looking at this proposal, I think now is the time to switch over to Community Corrections Act 401 County. The funding is there, and I believe it'll be a good benefit for the citizens of Wright County here. It'll be a good delivery of public safety needs that we have in our community, and I think making the switch now is the appropriate time, and I'd recommend its approval.
All right, thank you, Administrator Kreiser. I think the biggest highlights that people should understand with this move is that it is a move to streamline delivery service, and then also it offers an immense more local control on the levels of services and how those services are delivered and what they look like. So, and with that, it puts us in line with most counties, or most of our peer counties.
That's correct.
I'll make a motion to approve that resolution.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Moyna, second by Commissioner Shane. Any further discussion? Hearing no other discussion, resolution vote. Commissioner Moyna.
Aye.
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 All right, resolution passes unanimous.
Thank you. And a side note, we will be meeting immediately afterwards with the Department of Corrections staff, as well as our staff, to update them on what happened today and the plan moving forward. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next, we have the recommendations, which is informational only, from the April 8th Committee of the Whole, which was a presentation on social services and health and human services. There's no action to be taken on that one. The last recommendation is from the Ways and Means Committee that met on April 8th as well. There's a few different recommendations from that one. So, oops. And now it's
Mine is the Mintex.
yeah, my computer was stalling out on me there. All right, so the first one we have is the Joint Ditch 15 funding request, is to bring forward to the board, approve the allocation of $72,000 for Joint Ditch 15 to cover the outstanding expenses. This funding was previously approved by the Water Quality Improvement Projects. The next one was the Mintex resolution, which was already passed earlier in the board meeting, so that would be informational only at this point. And then the last one would be the Opioid Advisory Council request for proposal, which was to bring forward a board approved for a submission of the opioid reports for additional designated staff and presented to the workshop for approval, just adding another layer, allowing staff to look at the scorings of the opioid council prior to them coming forward to the board. Just wanting to make sure that the process is followed and that we are getting a good movement on the funding that is available in the opioid council.
I'll make a motion that we accept all those recommendations.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Shane to approve the April 8th Ways and Means Committee recommendations. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would have liked to have done these separate recommendations, as they are two different topics, but as the motion is set, just move forward, I guess.
Sure. All right. Is there any other discussion on it? I appreciate Commissioner Shane, Commissioner Holland on reviewing these items. I think they are all good projects and good changes that should be entertained. So with that, No other discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I abstain.
Abstain, all right. Motion passes 4-0-1, one abstention. All right. With that,
Mr. Chair, I would like to add one item to the agenda, if I could here, for consideration by the board. And I apologize, I didn't have it in front of me at the start with the start of the meeting, but as the board is aware, we rejected the electric bids on the household hazardous waste facility, and we rebid those. Those bids came in, again, lower than what was the highest qualified, or the lowest qualified bid on the initial round. I believe it was 685,000, I think was the original lowest qualified low bid. 647, Mark? 647,000 was the lowest qualified bid on the last go around. We rebid it and it came in, the lowest qualified bid now is $573,400. We'd like to award that to AJ Moore Electric Inc. so we can get that signed and not have a 3-week delay. So I apologize for, this came in after the agenda deadline and I missed my note, so to add it at the top.
and board members should have seen the email that I think went out, I believe, late Friday. So this is something that board members should have at least been aware of, so.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll make a motion to accept that bid.
Second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Holland, second by Commissioner Shane to approve the bid for $573,000 and some change to AJ Moore for the household hazardous waste electrical contract. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimous. All right, at this time, there's no other business to attend to on the agenda. We will adjourn.
Can I just mention one thing? I want to thank Mark and Sally. The Historical Society got a grant from the Central Minnesota Council on Aging, and they got a $16,000 grant. Oh, and Alan as well. They will be able to make that handicapped accessible, the front door and the bathrooms. It was a quick turnaround, and we're very excited that that was awarded. There was not very many awards this time, so Lori from Central Minnesota Council on Aging was very excited that we got what we were looking for, so.
Very good.
Wonderful.
That is great. Is there any other comments otherwise? Hearing none, we'll adjourn today's board meeting at 9:47.